So you said Abe Elsayed, right? So
Yeah.
Abe, something that really intrigued me is that I feel a lot of entrepreneurs are engineers nowadays, right? And you studied at ASU, you did software engineering, and how did you go about entrepreneurship? You're the founder of Lead Chimp, but how did you get into that point? Because you studied engineering first, right?
Yeah, actually, I ended up dropping out like a year away from graduating,
Mm-hmm.
which is, not the smartest thing I did, but it's a decision I do regret now, but I had to do at the time. But honestly, man, I think if you were to ask me like what it takes to make an entrepreneur, I'd say like just a vision. People that graduate with engineering degrees, they do it not because they're like hella smart and they're made out to be engineers. They do it because they have a vision to be engineers one day. So they're willing to put in the work, they're willing to take the hard classes and just make it work at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I feel engineers, I mean, I think what is it? Jeff Bezos, he was an electrical engineer at first, and then he went to banking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk. I mean, he's technically an engineer, but he didn't study engineering. But there's so many. I think the founder of it's a huge media company, Bloomsburg, right?
Yeah.
I think he's an engineer as well. And all these, Dyson, like all the engineers are entrepreneurs, and I think it's because they know some systems and they
Yeah.
have a framework that they apply to their businesses. Is
Yeah.
that something that you kind of learned as well?
Well, if you want to learn how to use money, then you learn finance, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you want to learn how money works, you obviously learn finance. You learn how money works.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn how to build systems and processes for your business to streamline an entire process and get the results that you want, and think of it as like input and output, right? Like you got to build the machine for it to
Mm-hmm.
operate efficiently and effectively on its own without you having to be there every single day. And I think that's what engineering really teaches a person, is just how to build these systems, and how to think like an engineer, how to put things together. But I wouldn't necessarily say like every engineer is an entrepreneur. I'd say actually 80% of engineers are the ones that are behind a computer working on a project trying to build some shit
Mm-hmm.
and in their own worlds. But the entrepreneurs that go out, that do study engineering, are the ones that are thinking like high level stuff, like how can I build a company? Because whatever you study in engineering, you could take that and apply it to your business, and it just becomes like you learn how to assemble things and you learn how to learn correctly,
Yeah.
building systems, building a process, creating efficiencies, all that stuff. It's definitely something that you do learn by putting in the work in any engineering program.
Mm-hmm. And I think for just a raw entrepreneur, they use these resources. They find people who can do the job, via engineers or web developers. Even though they haven't studied that, they can
Yeah.
curate a team. Like you look at Steve Jobs, he got the best class of engineers to make, arguably the best product in our lifetime, the iPhone and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's really dope. So what about Lead Chimp? How did you how did you find that?
So in high school, I was always like, I had entrepreneurial inclinations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get out of high school and start a business. So I told my parents, you know what? I wanted to start a coffee business. And I really wanted to open a coffee shop. And it was my vision, right? And then unfortunately, being super young, my parents wouldn't give me $60,000 to start a coffee shop with.
Mm-hmm.
So I, went to a local coffee shop owner here in my city, and I asked if they wanted to partner up, and they were like, "Yeah, you just got to put in 50 grand." I'm like, "Oh damn!" So I really don't have the money to do this, but I really want to do it. So I ended up just blogging. I ended up just because it was the thing. It was the thing at the time when I started. That was back in 2013.
Okay, that's when Medium was
Blogging
hot.
was
Yeah.
blogging was very hot, and a lot of people were making money doing blogging, right? So I just jumped into that, not thinking much of it. And then I committed to it. I started a website called Discover Sacramento. So I live in Sacramento, and the blog was all about the city, right? I would highlight people in the city. I would highlight businesses. I would talk about things to do, top 5 burger spots, top 5 things to do in the city. So I would just write these blogs, and I had a friend help me out with the blogs. So we'd write a blog almost every single day. And for a whole year, we didn't really see much traction until like maybe 6-7 months in. Our blog started getting 50,000 hits a month organically.
Was it
And
one viral blog or something?
it was like people started to like really take us serious. Like people actually started to learn more about Discover Sacramento, and
Huh.
every time I'd go somewhere and I used to like to brag about it, right? Because like my blog is getting a lot of hits. So whenever I'd go out, I'd be like, yo, like people would ask me, what do you do? I'm like, oh yeah, I have a blog, Discover Sacramento. Have you heard of it? Like, oh yeah, we actually have heard of it. So, that motivated me a little bit. And then I started selling ad space on the website, making a couple $100 a month. That was the beginning of me selling online. And
Mhm.
then I realized that there's so much opportunity because businesses would come to me and ask me to help them market their businesses, because I would approach every single business that I know of, and I'll be like, hey, do you want to get featured on my blog? I'll
Mhm.
write something nice about your business in exchange for make some food so I can take pictures and all that stuff. And then they'd ask me after my shoot, and then after we do everything, they'd be like, do you guys do marketing? We need help. Unfortunately, I didn't do marketing at the time, so I'd be like, oh no, but I can refer you to someone, and just refer them to a friend. And I realized that was that happening a lot. So I decided to learn how to market so I can help these guys. And then I started doing social media marketing, and that was the beginning of my like agency life, right? Did social media marketing for about 3 years, and I was making about $7,000 a month, man. Like at that time, I was
Sheesh.
making 7 grand a month, as a 19, 20-year old, you know, um, like running around taking pictures. I was a photographer, a videographer, a blogger. I was pretty much everything I needed to be to make money. And I got burnt out because like I'd get calls at 11 p.m. from random clients asking me like, yo, can we do this? Like they just shoot me their ideas, right? Because I was just so available to them. They'd throw these crazy ideas, and then I'd have to like stress over how am I gonna freaking apply this. So you know I ended up just like stopping that because I just lost my sanity. It was just too
Uh,
crazy. Imagine having to post every single day on multiple accounts every day, and there's an open line of communication. They reach out to you, they tell you, hey, can we do this today? Can you change this post? Can you post this instead? Can you change the caption? It was just crazy.
so you
So I
think you
dropped
bit off more than you can chew,
100%. 100%.
and you couldn't hire someone or get a team, maybe some freelancers?
I don't know. At that time, I wasn't really. I didn't know that you could just
Okay.
hire people to do stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I feel you.
I really wasn't thinking about it. I ended up just like getting burnt out and
Mm.
just stressing myself out. And then I just dropped my clients. I just stopped posting on their stuff, and I stopped billing them and collecting my checks. And then I remember, um, I was going through a little like rough patch at that time, and then my brother actually came up to me and told me, "Hey, like, I want to start a business. I see you're doing your thing. Let's buy Sam Ovens course." I don't know if you've heard of Sam Ovens, but
I think yeah.
he's a consulting guru, right? So he's actually legit. He's a pretty cool guy. So my brother and I ended up investing 2 grand into the program, and we bought it and we started going through it. My brother kind of just gave up a little early because it was such a long program, but I kept going, right? I took like 30 pages of notes. I was very tentative. I was just really on it, trying to make it work. And then I ended up just starting my consulting career at that time. That was a couple years ago. And I started offering a more of a consultative services instead of just management of social media
Hmm.
accounts. I started helping them with their paid advertising. So I would go to dentists, for instance. That's where I started. I would go to dentists. I'd be like, hey, I can help you guys get more patients in through the door in the next 30 days. And they'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And then I'll figure out how to do it, right? I never really had the answers. I just figure it out. So that actually took off, and I started making really good money there. And then fast forward, trial and error, fast forward a lot of different failures and ups and downs. I ended up just, you know, figuring out one thing that worked for me, for my business, for my personality, and I just scaled my business. And from that, I was able to start like get into e-com using my income that was coming in from my agency. I actually hired a team, and they're taking care of all that stuff. But now I'm able to start e-com stores. Now I'm able to get into real estate, um, you know, do projects on the side. Now I'm a lot more like free to do the
Hmm.
things that I enjoy, because hey, not every person's wants to be a C. I don't want to be a CEO, because you really have to want to be the CEO to be in that position. It's actually crazy that most people don't understand the difference between a founder and a CEO. Not every founder is a CEO, and not every CEO is a founder. A CEO is the one, like pretty much eating shit every single day to make sure that the ship is moving forward. The founder is just a visionary, is just the person that puts it together, brings qualified people in, hires the driver, and has the driver drive the thing, right? You don't have to drive it yourself to be rich and to be successful, like, so for me, I realized like soon enough that I wasn't interested in becoming the driver. I just
Hmm.
wanted to own it.
Okay. And did you end up selling Discover Sacramento, or you just dropped it completely?
I just dropped it completely, and it's funny that you asked the question because like I literally just got a buyout offer like a couple weeks ago.
You're lying, really?
Yeah. So it's actually really funny that you mentioned that. A lot of people have been interested in like buying it from me, but honestly, like what am I gonna sell them? Like I still have the blog, I still have everything. I'm not gonna sell it because I see a lot more potential in it. Like because now I do e-commerce and now I'm in, sales. I know exactly what I can do with it because I've already built the following on it. I've already built the audience.
Yeah.
It's I can literally make $50,000 to $100,000 next year from that business, just extra.
Wait, so you're gonna go back and work
Yeah,
with a?
I'm actually hiring some. I'm hiring
Oh
a team
wow.
right now. I'm in the process of hiring a team to just like take it over,
Yeah.
because like with these things, man, I realize that it's easy to jump into multiple projects and get sidetracked,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like shiny object syndrome. It's very easy to do that, and it's actually very fun because like in the beginning, when you're like creating something from scratch and you start to see a little bit of traction, you get really excited, but then over time it becomes really boring. You're like, oh shit, like I actually have to put in the work now, and then you end up like doing 50% here, 50% here, 50% here, and nothing ever moves. So I told myself, like, if I'm gonna do this agency, I have to do it, and I have to get to a certain income level before I
Mhm,
can just start doing other stuff. And guess what? With real estate stuff, I don't really have to be like super active. It's not a full-time job, right? I
mhm.
just really found people that are actively seeking investment opportunities and actively looking for like houses to buy, house to flip, different things to invest in, and they're the ones that are doing it full time. I'm just coming in as a partner.
Wait, I'm still kind of confused here. So after Discover Sacramento, you said you had your own consultancy agency, right? You're not
Yeah,
running the social media, but instead you're helping people with marketing, just consulting with
yeah,
them.
just
Um,
marketing, Facebook
okay,
marketing,
okay. And after that, you found
Lead Chimp.
Lead Chimp. Okay,
Yeah,
now how's that next step? What happened there?
I um I like Mailchimp, so I just said, I'll just call my business Lead Chimp. So that was, yeah, that's the kind of that's how I started the name. That's how I came up with it. But for me, I just wanted to really have a legit business, right? Like I wanted to have a real business. So I was like, let me start a real agency. I want to get a nice office space, have a bunch of people working in there, and like work with brands like Coca-Cola and all these crazy big brands. But then I realized, I actually don't want to work with these brands. I don't need to make a lot of money, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, let me just start this agency. I'll focus on one industry to market to, and I'll focus on one industry to help out, and I'll get really, really good at helping them out, and they'll tell other people in their industry about me. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how you actually just really grow. But the boutique agency model, like where you could just like you help plumbers, dentists, chiropractors, restaurants, like that's not scalable because you have to come up with a solution to every single problem, right?
Hmm.
Instead of just coming up with a solution to one business model, you have to now do it 4 or 5 different business models. It goes back to that shiny object syndrome. It's like you want to just like tap into every industry. It's just not
Yeah.
realistic.
Hmm. And to provide context, what you guys do is you help businesses get more conversions, right?
Yeah, so right now we're helping e-com stores scale to 7 figures. So we have a couple of
Mm.
e-com stores that we've helped take to 6 figures. Actually, we're about to do 1 million a month, $1 million this month with one of our own stores.
And it's all through advertisements.
Oh yeah. So we took it from in 3 months we did 1.5 million.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I heard, right now e-commerce is booming because, retail stores are closing down and everyone's making that transition into e-commerce. Businesses that didn't have an e-commerce store, they need to drive revenue somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. Why do you go to Walmart to buy stuff? Well, now you don't have to go to Walmart to buy stuff. You know, the reason why you have malls, you have places that you go to get stuff is for you to buy, usually, right? To buy clothes, to buy stuff, shoes, hats, accessories, whatever you want to get. Well, now that's just all virtual. You could just do that online, and it's actually a better experience because you don't have to leave your house,
I mean,
right?
there's one argument to that. I mean, I feel we can go on for days. I mean, I've been listening to some podcasts, and it makes kind of sense because Amazon, you can get stuff in 2 days. But from what I hear, there's so many WalMarts. On average, there's a Walmart 20 minutes away from every citizen, right? Every resident
Yeah.
in the United States. And instead of having something in 2 days, you can get it
Today,
today because it's a 20-minute drive on average, right?
yeah,
And that's why, and that's another topic, but I know what you mean. Yeah, everyone wants stuff. We're all lazy, to be honest. We want stuff
yeah.
delivered to our homes, and you can just
But
shop online. So convenient at the end of the day.
but think about it this way: like, why would you go to Walmart when you could just go see how many reviews a product has? You see what other people are saying. If you go to Walmart, you can't just walk around like, "Hey, have you tried this product? What do
Yeah.
you guys think about it?" Right? Usually, that like you can obviously like go to Walmart, look up the product on Amazon, and be like, "Okay, it has good reviews. I'll just buy it here." You could do that, but it's like the experience that you get just shopping online and some like a package just appearing in front of your door.
Yeah. No, actually, no. Let me
It's like
let
a
me just
little
add.
gift to
No,
yourself.
you're right. Actually, let me just add to what I really wanted to say. It's just that Walmart is becoming more like e-commerce, where you
Yeah,
shop online, you pick up the goods 20 minutes away from your house on average, right? That's what the
yeah.
stat is, and then you get it the same day. So yeah, of course, you look at the reviews
And
on
Walmart
Walmart.
is
Yeah,
Walmart is Amazon's biggest competitor.
yeah, it's crazy. And even on TikTok, I was like, why the hell is Walmart on TikTok? But they're really
Yeah,
trying to
Walmart.
merge. It's crazy what's going on nowadays in the
Yeah,
marketplace.
Walmart is Amazon's biggest competitor, and
Yeah,
they're beating them in some stuff online.
it's really cool
I
to see
actually have a
that.
friend who's doing the e-com side for Walmart.
Really.
Yeah. So
In
I
what
mean,
way? Like, is he managing the e-commerce store
oh,
or?
he's managing like because the way they do it is like it's like a category. Like they'll assign different categories to different people, right?
Oh,
It's
okay.
not just one guy doing it or just one agency doing it. So like he's in charge of like some category at Walmart, and he just one time told me some stuff that he wasn't supposed to
Oh
say.
yeah. Yeah,
But
he made you sign an NDA.
they're no, they're killing it, man. They're killing it. E-commerce, and here's the thing: Walmart is doing exactly what all these drop shippers are doing, right?
Yeah,
Sourcing product from China, and that's the biggest thing that most people don't realize is like the big guys are doing exactly what the small guys are doing. They're
they're
just
playing
doing it at
catch up.
scale. Exactly, they're doing it at scale. So like, there's nothing stopping anyone from going out there and making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta take the
Exactly.
risk.
Yeah. So you guys just specialize in advertisements, or do you also
Yeah,
do
paid
landing pages?
advertising.
Okay.
Yeah, paid ads. So that's what we specialize in. Facebook ads mainly, but we do Google, YouTube ads, anything to really just take a store from where they're at 6 figures to 7 figures
Okay.
in a very short time period.
And do you guys have your own content creation team? Say an e-commerce store has a physical product,
Yeah,
do you have
yeah,
to do they send you a product and you make a creative around that?
yeah. So we do that.
Okay.
Obviously, like that's like it varies, right, depending on what the product is. But we have an in-house um, creative team that deals with all the ad creation. So they do the
Mhm.
video, they do the font over the video to make it look appealing on Facebook. They do all that crazy stuff.
Okay. How much money has your team spent in total on Facebook ads?
I think we spend over 100,000 a month on
Jeez.
ads. Yeah.
And when do you guys start?
So I we started focusing mainly on e-com stores. I'd say the beginning of this year.
Okay. Damn,
Yeah.
100 grand a month. So you
Oh yeah.
probably learn a
Oh
lot.
no, wait, yeah, yeah, a little more. I think even more than that. I think
Okay.
100 grand just being conservative.
Damn, but even then,
Yeah.
that's still a lot. I mean, people say if you run your very first ad the first week, it's good data, but you need, in order to learn a lot more, you got to spend more. And if people say
Yeah.
even if the ad doesn't convert, the fact that you have that data is very very valuable. Now, of course, you're not going to reveal your secret sauces here, but what are some trends that you've seen? And this is very subjective because depending on what e-commerce store you're running, but what are some things that you've seen, some trends across different e-commerce stores that has been working? Some advertising strategies, marketing strategies, ad creatives? Like, what is it that you've seen that's been working?
I'll tell you something. Everyone wants to know the secret sauce. But the truth is, Facebook is always changing, always changing. And we're really, every advertiser just playing catch up with Facebook, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
also trying to figure out what they're going to do next. So I wouldn't necessarily say that. And I wouldn't agree with any other guru that goes out here and just says, this is the secret sauce. There's really no secret sauce. It's just like, it's a process, workflow, right?
Mm-hmm.
You build an ad, right? You get good creatives, you test different audiences, you see which audience works, which doesn't. Shut off the ads that are not performing, hitting KPIs, and you scale the ones that work. Scaling, obviously there's different types of scaling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vertical, horizontal, like you just, there's just so many different variables that go into it that it cannot be applied to just one. It's not a cookie cutter, right? It can't be
Yeah.
applied to just one product, because you have high ticket, you have low ticket, you have, a person that's going to buy a product that's worth $20 is not going to, it's not going to be the same person that buys a product that's worth $5,000, right? Both purchases are going to happen, but the time it's going to take to make one purchase versus the other varies. So depending on that too, that's how you tweak your ads, your messaging, your funnel. You build out the funnel, like what is it going to look like, the process,
Yeah.
what you say here, what you say here, what you say here. So I can't really tell you one thing, but it's just a testing game.
Okay.
You got to test. You got to test your landing page. You got to
And what
push
what
the
about
limit.
this? The trend is nowadays with TikTok and Instagram Reels, people's attention spans are they don't have an attention span. So the ad needs to be very quick. If you do a video, it should be at most, they say, a couple seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is, but it has to be very, very short and to the point. Is, has that come across your agency where your ads are just really short and to the point, or do you still use static images, long form video?
We do everything. We,
Okay.
we do everything. You can't, like, for, like I said, like a $20 product, $60 product, you could definitely do like quick videos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for something that you're trying to like educate people on, you can't do that
Okay.
in 10 seconds,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends. If you're doing a coaching service, you cannot, like, if you're selling coaching packages, you can't just do a 10-second video,
Mm,
right? But you obviously, like, you gotta have a strong hook to get people to listen to what you have to say.
okay.
And I think YouTube ads definitely, like, number one platform right now
Oh, really?
for ads. Honestly, yeah, we're getting way
Pre-rolls?
better. Yeah, so like I would say YouTube ads is outperforming most of our Facebook ads right now for like service-based businesses, coaching, even product right now. So we're testing
Huh.
a lot of product on YouTube, and it's doing pretty good.
I've fiddled with Facebook ads before, but never with YouTube ads. How does that work? Because of course, if you're going to sell a financial service, right? And of course, you want to put that in maybe an e-commerce drop shipping video, right? You don't want to put it in some funny sort of video.
Yeah.
How do you get started
It's
with
a pick.
YouTube ads?
You pick exactly where you want your videos to be displayed, and I think that's why I like it a lot, because like if you're selling, let's say, a fitness supplement, like you're selling, let's say, pre-workout or protein, you can tell YouTube, I only want to advertise, well, you're telling Google, but you tell Google, I only want to advertise on channels that are in the fitness space.
Mm-hmm.
So, the audience are like super hot, right? They're people that are interested in the space. They're obviously fans of the industry. And when you show them your ads, they're more likely to click on it and want to learn more. But obviously, you also have to think about, landing page, strong copy, good sales page, all that stuff.
Is it
It's
fair
not
to?
just the video. So think about it this way: the video, the ad sells the click,
Mm-hmm.
and the sales page sells the product.
Okay. There's no one thing that's more important than the other. Everything has to work, right, in
Exactly.
order to get the close down, right?
Exactly.
Sell the product.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I always thought that the creative was the most important part, but of course that creative, can get you that that link click to be on the
Yeah.
landing page, and then from there you still have to use certain strategies to have that potential customer buy your product.
Exactly. No one's ever going to click on the ad and buy it just because
Yeah.
they saw a really cool image. If they click on the ad and you take them to a bad landing page, they're not buying anything from you.
Okay. So even you guys work on the landing page as well?
Yeah. So we pretty much just
Full
do
end.
everything,
Okay.
like everything to get to 7 figures. Obviously, like different variables like landing page optimization, um, you know, click through optimization. Like we got to get into every single thing just to make sure that we're maximizing, because it's not just about making money. It's about optimizing in the process so that
Yeah.
you can just support the scale, so you can spend more to earn more.
Okay.
Because like, just because you're getting a return on investment doesn't mean that it's always going to stay this way, because Facebook is always going up in cost, and competitors are always coming in, which is going to drive the cost up. So if you're not optimizing from the beginning, right, you're going to be in a bad place 6 months, 7 months down the line.
Okay. And what do you do? What's your main job? I'm pretty sure you know everything
Yeah.
back to front, but what's your main priority?
So my main priority right now is to make sure that we get to $1 million a month in revenue for the agency. So I've been just like assembling the team, searching for people to have on board. I'm always looking for media buyers, always looking for people that are just killing it out there, and I need more guidance, because not everyone, like I said, not everyone wants to steer the ship. So if anyone wants to be a part of something that they don't necessarily want to own, then I'm looking for them, because I'm looking for a team that's going to take things like to the next level, 10x what we're doing right now.
Okay. And you said
So that's my main
e-commerce.
goal.
You said e-commerce is something that you're working with, but that's not all your clientele, right?
No. I have clientele in like all types of industries, and honestly, I didn't advertise to them. I just got them as clients because of my like reputation here.
Yeah.
Referrals, people would just like literally just submit forms on our website and call us. So like, if I get a client asking for help, I'm not going to turn them down, because that's my moral obligation to help them out.
Yeah. Anything that's a good idea for an agency, like if you look at Amazon, for example, they have multiple revenue streams. Of course, they have third-party sellers. They have, Amazon Music. They have all these services that help them make revenue, different revenue sources. And for you, of course, you have clients on e-commerce and others across different industries. So do you think it's important in the beginning, at least, to really niche down to one area and then expand horizontally?
Yes. The riches in the niches, right? If you're just starting your agency and you don't know what you want to do, I'd say pick one industry that you kind of like, because every industry has its issues, right? Every industry, every niche is going to have their own problems. You just got to deal with it. But pick one industry that you kind of like, that you can deal with and tolerate, and just go all in. Be obsessed with getting them results, because when you serve one niche and you get really good at serving that niche, guess what ends up happening? They become fans of whatever you're doing. And guess what they do? They go out and tell 3 people, because they know other, like, let's say the restaurant owners, they'll know other restaurant owners, be like, yo, these guys, we hire them, they're killing it. And guess what? The other guys start to inquire about you. I'm like, hey, can you give us his information so we can talk to them? They call us. Yeah, that's what we do. That's a sale right there that you didn't have to actually advertise to get. Referral,
Yeah.
right? And that only happens when you just become amazing at what you do. You become so obsessed with the industry that you're just like their savior. Everyone's looking at you for answers. When COVID hit, everyone's going to look at you and be like, what do we do? How do we pivot? How do we get more customers? We're going to shut down if we don't get more customers. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like becoming that leader in this space and making it your moral duty and obligation to serve those people and give them the best service possible. You gotta think of it this way. My dad is a dentist, right? I've seen my dad getting burnt by these marketers and these ad guys in the beginning when he started his practice. And I just hated it. So as a service provider now, as an agency owner now, I would never do that to another person. I would never take their money and not deliver on what I promised and not try my best, because that's somebody else's dad or husband or, whatever. Like, and they're literally trusting you with their hard-earned dollars, and you're not delivering what you promised. So to me,
Yeah.
it's a lot more personal than anything like just monetary.
No, I definitely feel that. And for any entrepreneur listening to this and they may be thinking about creating a business of their own, you think right now is the best time to create an agency? Because what we said before, these businesses, they need to pivot. They don't know what's going to happen. We're in phase here in Stamford, Connecticut. We're in phase 2.1. It can go back to phase 1. There can be another lockdown,
Yeah.
and these businesses can suffer. And then again, they have to rely on e-commerce or something alike. So do
Yeah.
you think right now, I mean, people can say, oh, look, it's the marketing space, creating your own agency, SMMA, whatever, is saturated, but right now is the best time to
Yeah.
create your own. Do you think that's true?
There's no such thing as saturated, honestly. I think if you can excel at what you do, you'll get your customers. It's honestly, it's really that simple. You know, Amazon still came into a saturated market, right? When Walmart was out there. How many locations did Walmart have when Amazon launched? A lot,
Yeah.
like too many to count, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if they looked at Walmart, like, damn, our competition is just they're just dominating. It's just a monopoly at this point, right? It's that we can't come in and be prof. No, they just had to do something different by
Mm,
offering better shipping to give customers a better experience than anyone else, right? And that's how Amazon really just killed it in the beginning. It was just how fast you can get your stuff.
yeah.
So for you, it's like how fast can you get them results? So if you can get them results faster than
Hmm.
no agency, then why would they go with them, right? Even if
Yeah.
they have even if they have more time in the space, they're still gonna pick you because you're the underdog that's trying to prove yourself to the market and
Yeah.
make you got that hustler mindset.
Now, let me ask you this. So you said you have to be different in some sort of way. Now, in your case, was it because people knew you, you developed a reputation for yourself that people, gravitated towards you, or
Yeah.
did you kind of offer, did you have a different strategy per se?
If they were gonna judge me solely based on my reputation, I think I would not have any clients. Honestly. I think what I was judged on is my willingness to keep learning and keep getting
Hmm.
better and keep trying my best. Because when I first started, it was a mess. I had so many clients, I didn't know what I was doing, right? I'm really good at sales. I can sell someone a service, and I don't care about walking into a business and selling and offering my services because I really do want to help. But at the same time, I don't have all the experience and knowledge at the time. I didn't have it to help them out, right? So now, like there's so many bridges that almost got burnt because I didn't deliver what I said I would and I tried my best, but at the same time, it's like nobody really has all the answers, right? So what I had to do was I had to make it completely clear and be vulnerable and honest with them. Like, this is me starting. This is my just the beginning. Let's
Hmm.
work together. I'll only get better from here, and I'll do my best to help you guys out. If this
Yeah.
isn't working, we'll find something else that's working. And then that's how I was able to retain most of my clients. It's just when you're being honest about where you're at in the process, they don't care what type of results you're getting right now because
Hmm.
they're gonna believe in you as a person, not so much in what they're seeing today.
Yeah, I feel that. Now, when you're starting by yourself, I feel you have to be a Swiss Army knife. You have to know everything. And when I think about an agency, you have to know the copy, how to run ads, do the landing pages if you're going to be responsible.
Yeah.
Of course, the communication between you and the client, customer service. What are other things that I did not mention that are really important when you start out in creating your own marketing agency?
If I were to give you or your audience one piece of advice that would absolutely change, and I can like back this up with my life, right? This will absolutely change their life forever. Hire a mentor, pay a mentor, get into a coaching program. Get in if you want to start an agency and want to do 7 figures. Don't hang around agencies doing 5 figures, 6 figures. They're not going to help you get to 7 figures, right? You want to join a 7 figure agency group, pay whatever you need to pay, even if you can't afford it. Figure out a way to afford it. Invest in yourself. Take that risk and trust the process. If they have a process that's working for them and you see winning, you know, people winning in the group, then that can be you if you put in the work. So for me, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't have the answers, so guess what I did? I went out, found someone that has the answers, and I just paid him a lot of money. And then money that I didn't have, I went into $15,000 of debt to be able to make $30,000 back.
And how did you find your mentor?
I saw his ads all over Facebook, all over YouTube. I researched the shit out of him, made sure that I know every single thing about this guy, and watched all his webinars, all his videos, all his content. Genuine, super genuine guy. Joe Kaplan, super genuine guy, super real, super honest about just how much money he makes and all that stuff. So he's not one of those guys that will only show you what you need to see. He also shows you what, you know, you maybe didn't want to see, like things
Mhm.
that would just make you think, wow, this guy is just really open about it. So
Yeah.
I invested a lot of money in his team and his expertise, and it was money well spent. And I definitely like see a huge return on investment.
So you saw yourself, if you didn't have your mentor, maybe your progress could have been more linear, but with him, you had that inflection point a lot sooner, and
Exponential.
it was exponential.
Yeah. So, you know, linear is redeveloping the wheel, right? Like
Yeah.
if you want to redesign the wheel, go ahead and do it. You're eventually going to get to the current wheel that we have now, or you could just pay the guy that designed it, or buy the design of the wheel that we have now, right? You just bought it and you just bought yourself time.
hmm Now, when you work with businesses, e-commerce businesses, do you guarantee that they're going to make a profit, or do you kind of assess their business as a whole, their product or service, and if it's not good, then you camp them out, right? Do
Yeah.
you kind of assess them that way?
So I always tell my clients, and I always tell people on our sales calls, I'm like, listen, you know, I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not a magician. I am not a magician. I cannot pull leads out of a hat. I can't pull new business out of a hat. I can try my best. I can do things the right way. We'll set things up properly so you have a system. But I can't promise or guarantee anything, right? But
Yeah.
obviously when you get good at what you do, you start to know, like, if you're really good at driving motorcycles, you're not scared of getting on a motorcycle, right? Because you just know how to drive it, right?
hmm
When you start to get really good at ads and marketing, you're not as scared to get in and test things, because that $100 that you're gonna spend, you know, at some point it's not going to waste, versus someone that's putting $100 in with no experience. That's all they got, so they're gonna be crushed if that $100 doesn't perform. So you see what I mean? So you just start to develop confidence in your offer, and you start to
Okay.
develop confidence in you actually just getting them results. So I don't think I've ever had a client like that I didn't get results for. It's just, you just got to keep trying until you
Okay.
get it.
So the first thing is you can't have them expect anything from you. And of
Yeah,
course, when you show them the results, they're probably really happy, a good result, a good ROI, you know?
exactly. Exactly.
Okay. And I feel like the good thing with what you're doing in terms of ads is that you can see directly what's working, what's not working, compared to if you just manage someone's social media page.
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't get a direct ROI on that unless you're spending money,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. Whatever service you offer, you have to be able to track the ROI.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't track it, you can't attribute it to anything, then you're pretty much, you know, worthless, because they're at the end of the day, if you sit down with a client after a month, you're gonna be like, so what? And it's just gonna be a really awkward conversation.
Yeah. What about, you said you did everything for yourself at one point. Um, how do you go about scaling Lead Chimp?
Like I said, hiring the right people, making sure that you have the right team in place. You have a solid vision and a solid, like, why, because things will get really tough in the process, in the journey. And one second.
No, no worries, no worries.
Okay.
I can cut it.
Okay, cool. Just because this downtown Sacramento, so we just gotta always move cars.
I know.
So so yeah, like, things always get, things will always get harder. You know, you go through ups and downs in life, and you got to figure out, like, why you want to do what you do. Like, if it's for
Mhm.
money, you're gonna give up really, really soon, and you're gonna be really disappointed. And most people really don't recover from that fall. You know, they do it, they achieve a little bit of success, they realize, oh shit, this is not what I wanted or expected, and then you just give up and get regular jobs.
Oh yeah, I think the first 6 months, a year. I feel
Took
a
me
lot.
5 years.
No, yeah, I feel a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, and social media doesn't help in that respect, where you see a lot of successful people
Yeah,
and they want to get rich quick and they're looking for a quick buck.
yeah.
But in reality, that's not always the case. And they can get very anxious, and then they'll have that shiny object syndrome. In 6 months, if it does not work, they hop onto the next thing. But I think
Yeah.
if you stick to one thing over an extended period of time, I think you'll eventually find your way. You know?
Master it. Become the master.
Yeah.
People respect masters. They value mastery, and they respect it, and they pay a lot for it.
hmm
So
So
for me, I want to be, like, my goal is not to be the richest man. My goal is to be one of the top ads guys and agency owners in the world. And to me, that's a big goal. And so many people out there competing with me, way better, way ahead of me. They've way more experience, way more money, but it doesn't matter. I'm just obsessed with what I do for myself, and I'm always competing with myself, not with anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you really become different. If you start running in somebody else's lane, you guys are going to get to the same place. You might get there later or before him, but you're going to get to his end goal. I don't want to go to somebody else's end goal. I want to be in my lane. So by the time I get there to the finish line, it's my finish line.
Yeah. And as a founder CEO of Lead Chimp, do you pay yourself a salary, or do you just put
Yeah.
everything back into business and you have other side projects going on?
I do pay myself a salary. I pay myself $1,500 a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I
So
drive the same car. I don't really buy expensive stuff. It's just not my thing. I'm not gonna do it
yeah.
because to impress someone. But
Mm-hmm.
when I do, like when I'm just like filthy rich, maybe get a nicer car. But I drive a 2013 Mustang, and it's been a great drive. So like I don't really see a need in upgrading a car. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, definitely like I've been like in a better position to help my family out, buy my sister's stuff. Like, yeah, just take care of my family.
No, I feel that. I think that's an important thing. If you can reinvest your money into the business and watch it grow, and then from there you can, take money out of it. Because if you put your money back into the business and you just feed it, from what I hear, you end up making a lot more money. And you say you're into real estate as well, right?
Yeah. So I had when I was 19, 20, 21 maybe, I had the opportunity. I was making enough money to go out there and get an M4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friend was driving an M4 at the time, and he worked at a dealership, and I was kind of like not jealous, but I was like, I can afford it. Like, why didn't I just do it? And then I realized, you know what? That would be so stupid because I could just use that money to invest it in a team, right? Hire someone to help me out and grow my business. That's exactly what I did. I could have been driving a Lamborghini, man. I invested in a team. I ended up investing in a team instead, and I feel like that paid me off way more. Even if it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work last year, I still got to learn a lot, and I still built a team. I learned about leadership. It's just like those things you can't learn in a Lamborghini, or you can't learn in a nice car. You don't learn these lessons in nice cars.
Of course, yeah. I mean, not to hate you can always celebrate or reward yourself some kind. Maybe
If
go
it's your
outside.
thing.
No, yeah, of course. We're not going to demonize you here, but I think a lot of people hate when people flex. But if you
Yeah,
generally want to reward yourself, then why not, right? If you can afford it, then why not,
exactly.
right? But it all
Exactly.
depends on what maybe the smart thing to do is, yeah, reinvest back in your business, go your team. And
Yeah.
uh, so I think that's a really good point there for any entrepreneur. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, or even athletes who make tons of money, they
Yeah.
don't they come out broke eventually because they don't
Yeah.
invest in anything. They just spend their
Exactly.
stuff on expensive houses and jewelry. And it's crazy that these athletes that have multi-million-dollar deals end up being broke because they never, use that money as a vehicle to grow and whatnot.
Exactly. And then on the other hand, you have people surviving on $50,000, $30,000 a year, and
Mm-hmm.
still putting their kids through school, still paying for their mortgage, still, you see what I mean? So it's like, it's really, money is just how you manage it. It's not how you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a lot, but if you don't know how to keep a lot, then you're not going to be like in a good place. I actually read a quote recently by Jim Rohn. He said, if someone comes and hands you $1 million, you better start becoming a millionaire before you lose that $1 million. Like, you better live like a millionaire, think like a millionaire, act like a millionaire before you lose that million. I don't know if that makes sense, but what he meant by that is it's not just about having the money, it's about learning how to keep it. How
Yeah.
millionaires keep millions, right? Broke people waste money. They waste millions throughout their life. But rich people learn how to keep that money and hold it and make it work for them and multiply it, expand.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about being either a producer or a consumer.
Exactly.
You just split it that way. Now, Abe, I was going to ask, do you recommend any books, podcasts, YouTube channels that you kind of looked up to or used to really help you become a better entrepreneur?
Sam Ovens for sure. Um, my number one favorite coach, and I love the guy, Joe Kaplan, 7-figure agency. Definitely love best agency community. Um, like some crazy guys in that group, man. Some like people doing 600,000 a month, 300,000 a month, and you really just like when you're in that group, you just see a lot of people making progress and growing fast, and it just motivates you, and it just it really just makes me want to just do more.
And I feel that, man. I feel like if you're in a community like that and maybe in the same space and you see people killing it, then you can use that as a reference. Like, hey, I can do a lot more with myself as well. And I think,
Exactly.
and it's not always about competing against other agencies,
Oh
but
no,
using that
dude.
knowledge.
The minute you start, like I said, the minute you start running in someone else's lane is the minute you're going to eventually end up getting to that finish line and then being like, that's not even where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he was going, but I didn't want to go there. And that's
Yeah.
I realized that last year when I was doing things because someone else was like my biggest competition. I was trying to compete with him, and I just ended up just really being disappointed with myself. Like, I don't even want to do this. Why am I even competing here? Right? So let me just go to my lane and do my thing on my timeline, grow whenever I want to. And if I fail, I'm the only one clapping for myself. If I win, I'm the only one clapping for myself.
I definitely feel that, man. I definitely feel that. So, Abe, I don't want to take too much of your time here. So, if people, want to have their own agency one day and they want to learn about some strategies of creating one, where can they find you and hit you up?
Abe Elsayed, Instagram. That's where I'm mostly active. But
Mm-hmm.
Abe, I'll just say Instagram. Yeah,
All
just
right,
Instagram.
cool. So yeah, I'll put that in the show notes. So if anyone wants to click on that, maybe shoot you a DM, follow you, learn more about you, they can do that, right?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me, by the way.
For sure, man. Anytime, all right?
All right, brother.
I was gonna